Our next guest is a superwoman and a true powerhouse that blew my mind when we spoke. Janet Kerr is Vice Chancellor of Pepperdine University. She has developed several successful tech companies, provides expertise in startup consulting, mergers, acquisitions, and other strategic relationships. She's also the CEO of Kerr Strategic Consulting. Janet, thank you so much for being here. You know, your resume is so impressive. But for me, what I love the most about you and your personality is how you really, is your mindset in life and how you walk through this world. You're so positive, you're so full of life, and that is so inspiring to me.
Thank you, Allie. I appreciate that.
So tell us about, you share with me a story about something that happened when you were pretty young that really became the catalyst to, I guess, your way of thinking today.
Yes. Well, I had a pretty normal life until I was 19. And I grew up in Thousand Oaks, and so Southern California. I became a student at Pepperdine University, and in my second year, actually almost my third year, I was 19 years old. And you're talking about reshaping lives and events that reshape lives. Well, I had a stroke at 19. And it was an event that nobody wants to go through, but on the other hand, looking back and actually going through it, I learned so much. And I realized at that point in time that it was an opportunity to change.
At that young, that was amazing to me. At 19, instead of just like, I'm better, I'm going to continue going down my path and finish school, you really let that settle within yourself and say, I'm going to change. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. I think a lot of it came through prayer and wisdom from God.
Yep.
And so that got me through the year of really. I was so affected that I became aphasic, and that is in talking to people, I couldn't remember the right words to say. It wouldn't come to me. And then I had to really learn how to read again and memorize. And so it was very profound, but I learned I had a lot more capabilities in myself than I knew, and to pull on those strengths. And that sort of set the foundation later on for other things that happen in life. And so I'm very grateful that I had that, because it made me gritty. And it's interesting.
I like that.
There is a book out right now called Grit. And I was reading this the other day, and I thought, gee, that taught me really how to get into the trenches and how to survive. But and I had such a great support system.
Yeah.
But it also made me realize that if I could get through that if there were other things in life as they do come, I could look at it through a different lens of, hey, that's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
That's not saying, Allie, that I didn't, suffer a lot. It wasn't, emotional. Sometimes I felt somewhat depressed. But you know what? I'm sitting here.
That's right.
And I got through it.
You got through it, because at that age, imagine you're in college and you're in really tough courses and you can't speak. Yeah. You can't even remember what words to say. I mean, that would have been so easy for you to go into a deep depression and say, you know what? I can't do this. I give up.
Right.
But you pushed through it.
Right. And what's so ironic about the whole thing is that from not being able to speak, I later on, years later, became a law professor where I had to speak in front of people, And
this just shows your personality. I'm glad they're getting to see you, because I experienced you and you're a force of nature.
Oh, thank you. But I became a walking thesaurus, and if I couldn't remember this word, then I developed, other words. And so when I became a law professor, I was a dictionary, a thesaurus, and all of a sudden, things came together for me, and it was wonderful.
Wow.
Yes.
So you have been the only woman in many a boardroom over the years, right? And you have pushed through many doors to get work done. And when we were speaking, there was something that you told me that I have been saying over and over in my head for the past few days. I kid you not. I even shared it with my daughter, that sometimes, right, in business or in life, when you experience a no,
Yes.
It's actually a yes. Like in your mind, that was like, yeah, well, no, but no, it's a yes. It's a yes.
That's right.
So tell me about your experience working with the Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Okay, so let me go back a little bit, and
Okay.
that is, I did go through law school. I
Mm-hmm.
did graduate. I worked for the Securities and Exchange Commission for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and then I became a law professor and developed a center in entrepreneurship at our law school, which was really the first ever of its kind in a law school setting. And so we were training students to become entrepreneurs because there's so many lawyers out there. This became an alternative career path. But also my students said, you know, Professor Kerr, we really have to have something in social enterprise, really to help others. And I said, you know, you're absolutely right.
What great kids.
So, they're wonderful. So I said, what do you think we should do? And they said, well, we got to develop a course or have a lecture in social entrepreneurship. So I looked through research and I realized that there was a fellow who was a Bangladeshi professor named Dr. Muhammad Yunus. And this was in 2006. He just won the Nobel Peace Prize. And I thought, well, what better inspiration for my students than to have him, you know, come over and talk to them. And now he's mainly centered in Bangladesh, but now he's won the Nobel Peace Prize. He does come over to the United States. But to make a long story short, I just called him up. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know who I was. And I'm saying, gee, you know, is there any way you can come over and talk to my law students? And there was a big pause, and he says, who am I talking to?
Where are you?
And so I just said, okay, you know, I started over and I said, you would be such an inspiration because what you've done is you've lifted tens of millions of people out of poverty with the concept of microenterprise. And this is the heart of social enterprise. And so he says, I'm sorry, but I'm really busy and I can't come over. And I said, okay, this is on a Thursday. I said, what are you doing next Tuesday? And he says, well, I'm in Bangladesh. I said, great. How about if I come over and see you for a half an hour or whatever? There was a long pause. He says, now he's calling me Janet, so I think this is a good thing. And he says, Janet, he says, okay. And so that was a no that became a yes.
A no that became a yes because you were so persistent.
And so I went over there. And I want to tell what really coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, by the way. So I'm sitting there and waiting to see him in the office. I'm in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And I'm looking down at my notes and I'm going to say for 20 minutes and hopefully engage him to come over and speak to my students at some point in time. And all of a sudden I hear, Professor Kerr, is that you? And I looked up and there was a student of mine that had graduated 10 years before.
In Bangladesh.
I had helped him actually get his first job, so that was a good thing. And he said, why are you here? And I told him, and he says, wait a minute. He says, let me go in and talk to Dr. Yunus. He's like a father to me.
Wow.
And so he came back out and he says, you're going to have a reception with Dr. Yunus tonight. He wants to really meet you and spend some time. And so we had the reception that evening. I asked him to come and speak. And, you know, he says, let's spend another day together. Let's get your staff together. They were already over there. And let's go and look at our micro enterprise program. So from those 2 days, it was only going to be 20 minutes initially.
Yeah, right.
And well, actually, it was going to be no initially.
Yeah, it was no.
Then it became 20 minutes, and then it became a reception, and then it became 2 days. And I will say that that was the most incredible 2 days. And then he called me 6 months later, and he says, I'm coming, Janet. I want to meet your students. And on that day that he came to Pepperdine Law School, we started a micro enterprise program in Los Angeles.
Janet.
So, and this, now we've graduated. Wow. We've graduated now over about 300 people that have been previously homeless to, you know, either get jobs, start their own businesses, or even go back and be, you know, educated to their level of where they want to be. And it's been incredible. But Dr. Yunus was the inspiration.
So a no became a huge, huge yes.
Yes.
I mean, what a lesson for all of us, right?
Well,
Don't give up.
And you're very inspirational.
Don't give up. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, you also shared a story with me about, I have a little girl, Estella, who's 10.
Yes.
And I know you have a daughter
Yes.
who is just got married.
She just got married. She's almost 33.
Oh my goodness.
They grow up fast, by the way, Allie.
I already feel it. I already feel it.
Yeah.
And I already feel it, and I totally want to freeze her right now.
Yeah.
But what you inspired me so much, really, when you were speaking about your daughter and making me think about my relationship and what I want for that relationship. And you shared some very special things about how spontaneous you guys are.
Yes.
Even amidst your busy, busy schedule and hers, you know, she's busy, busy girl. Share one of these like adventures and you guys' sort of mentality around, you know,
Yes.
spontaneity and just picking up and going.
Well, you know, again, I'll go back to some, you know, medical challenges that I've
Yeah.
had even farther, you know, later after the stroke. It just made me appreciate life so much. And
Right.
so I try to impart this with my daughter, you know, not making a checks of do's and don'ts for my daughter as she was growing up, but to actually have fun with this person. And so, so one of the things that I always like to do, and now she loves to do through the years, is we would travel together, but it would be spontaneous. So here's an example. She was going to school at NYU Law School. And so this is the January, you know, deep winter time. And I'm sitting at my desk. This is a Tuesday evening. And I pick up the phone. I call my daughter. And I said, Jennifer, let's do this. In 2 days, let's meet at JFK Airport. I'll fly there. Then we take a red eye and we go to Iceland. And she says, you're nuts. I'm on. But you realize there's only 6 hours of daylight. I said, that's okay. Well, we'll manage. And so for 3 days, I mean, I don't think we went to sleep. We did all kinds of things. And the fact is that there's so much joy and fun in life. And it really, once you have that perspective, then I think life kind of presents itself to you. And I used to say to my law students, I said, you know, life is like a banquet. And most people just go to the appetizers. But you should go down the whole thing and really embrace it, enjoy it. And along the way, you meet so many wonderful people. And that's really what life is about relationships, about adventure, about fun. Sure, doing good things and that sort of thing. But I really feel that now my daughter, she'll turn around and do the same thing to me. Hey, Mom, let's do this or whatever.
Well, you said that she did, because you said that she called you up, say, okay, meet me at the airport in 72 hours?
72 hours, that's right.
We're going to Morocco or something like that.
Yes,
So yeah, she's got the bug.
She's wonderful that way. Or we just went to, 6 weeks ago, we went to Bogota, Colombia. Same thing. She said, let's go. And in 2 days, we were there.
And doing these things together and spending this kind of quality time together, how can you see that as the fruits? Like, what are the fruits of that for you guys in that relationship?
The fruits are that we genuinely have a great friendship. And certainly I'm always the parent, you know, once a parent, always a parent, I'm sure as you know. But it's also just a friendship and a intimacy of being able to communicate better too, because we have all these beautiful shared experiences that were just a lot of fun. Now that's not to say that we haven't had our hard times.
Of course, we all do.
But you know, we go back to those times that we have had such a great time, and it's not over. What's so wonderful is she just got married to this great man. His last name is Love. What's better than that?
Oh, wow.
And he loves to travel, and the three of us have traveled together. So it goes on. Yeah.
Well, I am. I'm so grateful to have you here, and you really have inspired me. Just the way you live your life, you know, you play hard. You play hard, Janet.
I do.
But you work really hard.
Yes.
But in that process, never losing sight of what's truly important.
Yes.
And for me, I'm actually most grateful that I met you in this season of my life, because I am now, after we spoke the first time, just taking stock of my life, and just with more determination to walk through in full awareness.
Yes.
And really enjoy my kids because they are young. And these incredible spontaneous trips all over the world, for you guys watching, you don't have to travel to Morocco or Iceland. You really could create these kind of experiences wherever you are with your loved ones.
That's true. No, that's really true. And I
Yeah.
think too, one thing I've tried to instill with my daughter is that it's a good time for women in business too. And my daughter is somewhat of an entrepreneur as well. So
Well, I can't wait. With a mom like you, I can't wait to see what she has coming up.
Yes.
I just wish I had a Janet. I think we all wish we had a Janet in our lives, right? So I'm just going to encourage you to write a book.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to add one more thing to your plate. One more thing to your plate. But again, thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Reshaped Live.